For many people, situations like these don't just cause stress, they trigger debt that takes months or even years to recover from. The reality is, most people don't think about emergency funds until something goes wrong, and by then, it's already too late. But here's the good news. Building an emergency fund doesn't require a high income, complicated strategies, or extreme sacrifice. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple, realistic system that anyone can follow to start building financial security, starting today. Introduction. Let's begin with the basics. An emergency fund is money you set aside specifically for unexpected expenses. It's not for planned purchases or things you simply want. It's there to protect you when life throws something unpredictable your way. Think of it as your financial safety net. Without it, even a small setback can push you into using credit cards, taking loans, or falling behind on bills. With it, you have breathing room. You can handle problems without turning them into long-term financial stress. In this video, you'll learn exactly what counts as an emergency, how much you should aim to save, how to build your fund faster, where to keep the money, and the most common mistakes to avoid. Section 1. Let's talk about what actually counts as an emergency. A true emergency is something unexpected, necessary, and urgent. For example, losing your job is a clear emergency. You still need to pay rent, buy food, and cover bills, even without income. Medical expenses are another common example. Whether it's an unexpected surgery, urgent treatment, or even a high-cost prescription, these are situations you can't ignore. Car repairs also fall into this category, especially if you rely on your car to get to work. If it breaks down, fixing it isn't optional. Home repairs can be emergencies too. A leaking roof, a broken heating system in winter, or major plumbing issues all need immediate attention. And then there are family emergencies, situations where you may need to travel quickly or provide financial support. On the other hand, not everything that feels urgent is actually an emergency. A vacation is not an emergency, even if it's been planned for months. Holiday shopping is not an emergency. Upgrading your phone, buying new gadgets, or taking advantage of a sale, these are all wants, not needs. Understanding this distinction is critical because your emergency fund only works if you protect it from non-essential spending. Section 2. Now, let's talk about why an emergency fund matters so much. First, it helps you avoid debt. Without savings, most people turn to credit cards when something unexpected happens. And once that balance starts growing with interest, it becomes much harder to recover. Second, it reduces stress. Financial uncertainty is one of the biggest sources of anxiety. Knowing you have a buffer, even a small one, can make a huge difference in how you handle challenges. Third, it gives you flexibility. If you lose your job, an emergency fund gives you time to find the right opportunity instead of accepting the first option out of desperation. It also helps you avoid relying on others for financial help, which can be uncomfortable and limiting. Imagine two people facing the same situation, a sudden $800 car repair. One person has no savings and puts it on a credit card, paying interest for months. The other pays it in cash from their emergency fund and moves on with their life. Same problem, completely different outcome. That's the power of being prepared. Section 3. So how much should you actually save? This is where many people feel overwhelmed, but the key is to build your emergency fund in stages. Your first goal should be small and achievable, somewhere between $500 and $1,000, or the equivalent in your local currency. This initial buffer is enough to handle many common emergencies and gives you immediate protection. Once you reach that, the next goal is to save 1 month of essential living expenses. That includes rent, utilities, food, transportation, and basic bills. After that, you can work toward 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is considered a fully funded emergency reserve for most people. If your monthly expenses are $1,500, for example, a 3-month fund would be $4,500, and 6 months would be $9,000. Some people may need even more. If you're self-employed, have an unstable income, or are the sole provider for your household, having a larger buffer, closer to 6 months or beyond, can provide additional security. The most important thing to remember is this. You don't need to reach the final goal overnight. Building an emergency fund is a gradual process, and every step forward counts. Section 4. Now let's talk about how to build it faster without making your life miserable. One of the most effective strategies is automation. Set up an automatic transfer from your main account to your savings account every time you get paid. Even small amounts add up over time, and automation removes the need for constant decision-making. Another simple approach is to save a percentage of every paycheck. For example, you might start with 5% or 10%, depending on what feels realistic. Whenever you receive extra money, like a tax refund, bonus, or gift, consider saving a portion of it instead of spending it all. You can also review your expenses and look for easy cuts. Cancel subscriptions you don't use, switch to more affordable alternatives, or reduce spending in areas that don't add much value to your life. Selling unused items is another quick win. Many people have things at home they no longer use, electronics, clothes, furniture, that can be turned into extra cash. If you want to accelerate your progress, you might consider temporary side income. This doesn't have to be permanent. Even a few months of extra earnings can significantly boost your emergency fund. And finally, save unexpected windfalls. Money you didn't plan for is often easier to save because it doesn't affect your existing budget. The goal here isn't extreme frugality, it's consistency and smart choices. Section 5. Now that you're building your fund, where should you keep the money? The most important factors are safety and accessibility. A high-yield savings account is one of the best options. It keeps your money safe, earns a bit of interest, and allows you to access it quickly when needed. A regular savings account is also acceptable, especially if high-yield options are not available in your area. Money market accounts can offer slightly higher interest rates depending on the provider, while still maintaining liquidity. What you generally want to avoid is investing your emergency fund in stocks, cryptocurrencies, or other volatile assets. The reason is simple. Emergencies don't wait for the market to recover. If your investments drop in value at the exact moment you need the money, you could be forced to sell at a loss. An emergency fund is not about growth, it's about stability and protection. Section 6. Let's go over some common mistakes so you can avoid them. One of the biggest mistakes is waiting until you earn more money to start saving. The truth is, the habit of saving matters more than the amount. Starting small is always better than not starting at all. Another mistake is investing your emergency fund in risky assets, hoping for higher returns. This defeats the entire purpose of having a reliable safety net. Some people also use their emergency fund for non-emergencies, which slowly erodes its effectiveness. Others try to save too aggressively while carrying high-interest debt, like credit cards. In many cases, it makes more sense to balance both. Build a small emergency fund while prioritizing paying off high-interest debt. And finally, many people give up because progress feels slow, but consistency over time is what creates real results. Section 7. Now, let's turn everything into a simple action plan you can follow. First, calculate your essential monthly expenses. Focus only on what you truly need to live. Second, set a realistic initial goal, something achievable within the next few months. Third, open a separate savings account dedicated to your emergency fund. Fourth, automate your contributions even if they're small. And fifth, commit to using this money only for true emergencies. That's it. Simple, clear, and effective. Ending. Building an emergency fund is one of the most important steps you can take toward financial stability. It's not about being perfect or saving huge amounts right away. It's about creating a habit that protects you over time. Every small contribution brings you closer to peace of mind and financial independence. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like it and subscribe for more. In the next video, we'll talk about the difference between wants and needs, a powerful concept that will help you control your spending and save money more effectively. Start today, stay consistent, and give yourself the financial safety net you deserve.